movie was definitely 1,000 times bigger than anything else I've ever gotten to hunt. This is the story of a deer I called Frenchy. So this is the story of a deer I called Frenchy. So this is the deer that I've had 2 years of history with. And you know, that's not really something you see very often with mule deer, especially out here in Wyoming. And so in order to tell this story, we're going to need to go back to last fall on September 15th or 16th. Of 2022. Okay, so this whole story began on the opening weekend of rifle season here in Wyoming, and I was on my way home from deer hunting. And it was probably about 10 o'clock, and we were driving back. We were almost to pull out to start heading back towards my house, because I live kind of out of town. And we were driving by, and I didn't see much all morning. And I looked in this yard right by the highway, and I just saw, like, out of the corner of my eye, I go like this to my dad driving, and I just see some movement and like a little bit of antlers. And so I'm like, oh my gosh. Stop, there's a deer right there. And my dad said, oh, where? I'm like, it's back in that yard. So we turn around, we start going back down the highway a little bit. And my dad has a friend who has a house right in that area where I saw that deer. He's like, oh, maybe this deer is in this dad's yard. If he is, you know, we can probably shoot him because this dad knows us. So we go back and start looking, and sure enough, there's two bucks in my friend's yard, and one of them is this this really nice like 3x3. But you could tell he was like a mature deer. He was not with like super awesome genetics. He had deep back forks, heavy, big eye darts, and his front beam. But he had these tiny little, you can barely call them splits on the front. So I just had no idea who it was. A 4x4. And there's actually, I took a video of him, and it's in last year's video. But yeah, he was a nice deer, but he just, like, for my standards at the time, like, he was a shooter. Like, I don't shoot very big deer. Especially with, like, road hunting and stuff, and, like, just places I can access, like, just, there's not a lot of options, for someone like me. But anyway, so, we're like, oh my gosh, this deer's in our friend's yard. So we dove back, we dove up the hill, on the highway, towards my house, and we did grab my friend, and we're like, hey, you need to look at this, and see if I can shoot this deer. So we hopped in, and, we go down the road, and we go back to the back side of his yard, and I get the gun out, and my friend is just like looking at it, and he's unsure on whether or not he's okay with me shooting the deer, just as he hasn't lived in that area super long, which is fine. But I had the scope on him, and I'm looking at the deer, and I've got this issue with my neck to where I can turn pretty far to the right, left, but I can't turn super far to the right. And so for someone who's on the passenger side, that's a bit of a problem. And so the deer is so far to my right on such a sharp turn, I can't really see it. So my dad's doing most of the aiming. And my friend is trying to just on whether it's okay with me shooting. And it's like, do you like the maiden? And I can't see. So I'm like, I don't know. But my dad and friend are saying it's a nice deer, so I'm like, I don't know, maybe. And so then he makes a call, and it's like, let's not do this today. I'm like, okay, it's fine, I respect that. So I go home, but I forgot, meanwhile, while I'm aiming, Finn, my brother, my cameraman, is filming. And so, I'll show you guys that footage like I said, but when I came home and I looked at that footage, and on top of that, my dad took some pictures with my photo camera, and man, when I got home and I saw that video and those pictures, I knew I made a mistake telling my friend that I was unsure. And he had so much carrot, his eye darts and his bases, and just such a unique looking bot. that he just kind of stuck with me, you know. And he had this split in both of his ears, and that's how I could always tell it was him. He had a split in his ears. He had a huge body, and yeah, he just had a lot of characteristics other than his antlers that I could, it was him. And sadly, that was only one of 3 times I saw that deer. And after that first encounter, I'm like, man, I really want to try to hunt this deer. And I'm telling my dad this, I'm like, what should we name him? Cause that's not, I don't know, it's just kind of thing that I like to do is, if there's a specific animal I'm after, I name them so I know just what to call him if I ever talked about him with someone. And so my dad said, well, we thought about it and we named him Frenchy, because our friend who owns the property that we first saw him on is French. Anyway, so there starts the story of Frenchy. So after that first encounter, my friend kind of left the door open for the idea of maybe not hunting that deer with a rifle, but maybe with my crossbow. And so it wasn't until, I don't know, mid-September, towards the end of it, that I had another chance at that deer. So my dad kept talking to our friend and trying to convince him to let me hunt that deer, hunt Frenchy. And at one point, my friend said okay to use a crossbow, and so that was great, but he disappeared for like, I don't know, 10 days. And so I kind of moved on and like started looking at other places to hunt, and I had plenty of time. It was a long season. The season ended on October 6th or something. So I had time. And so then one day I was actually at a football game, and my dad told me, he's like, dude, Frenchie is in, and they're right now, meet me there, I'll grab the crossbones, after you just meet me there. I'm like, okay. So I hopped in my truck and my mom, and I just like, we've done it out there. We meet my dad at the property, he's down the crossbow, and we're like, by the time we get everything set up, Frenchie's gone. He kind of goes over the top of the property, because the property's on this hill, and so there's the hill, a house on top, and then on the back side of that hill by the highway is our friend's yard, and that's where he was living, and that's where recreation hunt. On the other side of that was people's front yards, and houses were super condensed. There's not a little neighborhood, so we couldn't hunt there. And that was pretty much my last encounter with Frenchy. And sadly I didn't get any pictures or video of him that time, and I didn't see him for another month or two. It was probably around the end of November, start of December-ish, when I was, season was long over, and luckily I ended up shooting a nice buck like you guys saw in last year's video. But I still felt like there was unfinished business, with Frenchy, and I was driving home, and I was past our friend's yard, and I'm probably about like halfway to my house, and from the main highway, and I see him very briefly on the left side. I turn my head and I see he's all rubbed and he's brown, and he's still super fat and healthy, and a group of does all around him. I'm like, yeah, I really hope that deer survives and comes back next year, because if he does, he's gonna be hopefully a beast. All he has to do is get a little bigger on those front forks and get a little bit wider. And if he does that, he's gonna be a really big deer, like miles bigger than anything I've ever shot. Now it's 2023. I'm about to go back to school, and I did a bunch of practice with my crossbow over the summer, because I'm like, man, I really want to kill a deer or an elk with my crossbow. And then, I don't know, I think it was right before I went back to school. So, I came home from school shopping, and it was like 6:30, 7 o'clock. I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna go for a drive and see if I can find some deer to take pictures of. Because as some of you may or may not know, I do wildlife photography. Like that picture behind me, I did that. And so I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna go look around and see if I can take pictures of moose or deer or something. So I grabbed my dad and my camera, hop in the truck, and we start going. And it's been a long day, and I'm kind of just like zoning out, just doing the whole like focusing on nothing. And then my dad is just almost looks over to us right at our friend's yard, and he stopped and turned around. It's like, holy crap, there's a big deer in my friend's yard. And so we come back and look. I'm like, damn, that is a nice buck. That's this big old 4x4 in velvet, and he's got big deep forks. He's heavy, huge faces, big eye guards. huge body. And he's got like crab claw fronts. They're like an inch long, inch, 2 inches, maybe even 3. And I'm like, it's not weird. His fronts are like, they're decent, but they're kind of small compared to everything else. And then he turns his head, and I see a split in his ears. When I look at the pictures, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's him. He's back. Somehow he survived the long, hard winter we had this year, and he was back. He jumped. He had a huge jump in size, and he was back. And this came at the perfect time, because at that moment I had no other ideas for deer season this year. The property I hunted last year, the landowner said he hadn't seen anything, and all my other plots were duds, but now Frenchy was back, and I was just like, man, this is the deer I'm after now. This changes my whole season. Immediately I got our friend's number from my dad. I'm like, I'm gonna convince this guy to let me hunt this year. And another fun fact, I'm kind of a shy person. I'm not really very good at asking people for permission. That's usually been my dad's thing, but this year he was like, no, you gotta do it. I'm like, okay. So I hemmed and hawed about it for a few weeks, and I keep looking. Whenever every weekend afternoon I had, from that point on, every afternoon I was looking for Frenchie, seeing if he would show up again. Because I hadn't seen him all summer until literally the last day of August. And so, I was just like, man, I've got to figure out this deer's pattern or something where he's living, because, like, it's not coincidence that he was in the same yard twice in back-to-back years. And I haven't seen him all year. So there's gonna be a good time he's coming out. So I look around, and I keep going night after night after night, and I just can't find him. But I did have hope. So the night I saw Frenchy, and the first day I saw him back in 2022, both times, he had this other younger buck with him. And the first year, he was a 3x4. This year, he was a 4x4. But on his left side, he had some trash. So I named him Lefty. And so Lefty was definitely a nice buck. He's probably like a 160s buck, I'm guessing. 160s maybe. And Frenchy was like a 175-ish. And so, I kept seeing Lefty. So, the first week I saw, that weekend, nothing. No Frenchy or Lefty. The second week, I found Lefty one night, Friday night, in that little neighborhood area that I wouldn't dare to hunt. And then the weekend after that, I saw Lefty twice. within back-to-back days. So I'm like, man, Frenchie has got to be around somewhere. He's gotta be living here, right? Like, if Lefty's here, she's gotta be close. Well, never found him. I looked around a bunch of properties. I was at the neighborhood. I checked by the highway and I checked the rodeo grounds. Those are the three places my dad never checked. And every time, all three spots came up empty. Eventually the archery season ended, rifle season started. I took the day off for my opener for rifle season because I get a 5-day extension to my season. So I took the day off to look for gear for an opener of rifle, found nothing, and then later that weekend, my grandpa came up for an opener of sage grouse season to come hunt with us. And we went sage hunting, sage chicken hunting that morning, and we got one bird. I came home, and my dad said, hey, do you want to go look for Frenchy tonight? And so we went to look for him, and we checked both the neighborhood first, and then by the highway, nothing. And then we had to go drop off some recycling in town, and then we came back, and I was like, you know what, let's just go out by the rodeo grounds just to complete our little checklist of spots, you know. So on the way home, I got my rifle in the back seat just to make sure, just to be safe, just in case we saw him. And we go up there, and so you kind of have to go up a hill, and on the top of that hill, there's a ditch to your left, and then like some buildings to your right, and then straight ahead there's the rodeo arena. So right off the bat, to the left my dad sees some little 3 points that we've seen before, time and time again. No big deal. But then we go around the arena and we see Lefty. I'm like, well, that's not cool. Saw Lefty. And at this point I'm kind of thinking that something might have happened to Frenchy. Because this is like the 4th time I've seen Lefty and no Frenchy. So my spirits are kind of low. I'm just like, man, is he dead? Has he disappeared? What's going on? Why can't I find this deer? And we're on the way back and we look at those 3 points again, and right next to them there's a ditch and a bunch of trees and willows, and right along that tree line there's Frenchy. My dad's like, oh my god, there he is. I swear my heart skipped a beat. I'm like, oh my god. And we're calling, my dad's like, hey, Aiden was wondering if he could hunt deer with his crossbow on the rodeo grounds. And the dad's like, sure, okay. And so we thanked him, we hit up, and we're like, yes, we got permission. And then we're like, oh wait, we don't have a crossbow. I'm like, Dad, what are you doing? Why didn't you just ask him if we could use the rifle? We could just shoot him right here. He's like, I don't know what I was thinking. And so, we're like, well, hope it doesn't go anywhere. And we're like, we floor it out of the rodeo grounds, back towards my house. And we grab the crossbow from my grandpa and Finn, so he could help film it, and we just absolutely done it back to the rodeo grounds. And we get there, I would look back to the ditch and we're like, he's not there. I'm like, okay, they're feeding towards the arena, maybe they're still here. So we pull forward, and there's, like I said, there's a loop around the arena. And so we see on the left side of the loop, there's some deer, and on the left side of that road, there's a 3-point, one of the 3 points that was with Frenchy, and then on the right side of the road, there's Frenchie, literally walking into the arena by himself. I'm like, huh? I'm like, crap, I'm probably gonna have to shoot this deer literally in the middle of a freaking rodeo arena. Okay. And so there's 2 gates. And so he walks in through one gate and he's heading towards this other gate to come out the other side. And so we just drive around the arena to that other side, where we think he's gonna come out, and he keeps telling me I got the cross already, and I got Finn going, and he just keeps walking right to 20 yards, basically. And he's right behind this gate, and so there's only there's gaps between the bars that are only about a foot, maybe half a foot-ish between each bar. And so he turns broadside, perfect broadside. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, Finn, you ready? And he's like, yep. I'm like, okay. And then I squeeze the trigger, release, and you just see this arrow, perfect. And it fly through him, right through his chest, and perfect heart shot. And he just goes maybe 50 yards, and he's just pouring out blood. And he dies right there in the middle of the arena, and we're all just like, oh my God. And yeah, it was pretty crazy. To say, but this is like, oh man, this is awesome. Got Dad here filming. He and I spent a lot of time this summer and early fall looking for this deer. Got Finn, who did most of the camera work,
Nice job, bud. My grandpa, I'm pretty, I was pretty excited to have him here. I'm glad he had to be here for this part. Man, I'm so excited about this deer. It's my personal best, my biggest deer with a crossbow, and yeah, it was a little unconventional, let's just say, for where we found him. But I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do for big mules. So yeah, we're gonna get him taken care of, and yeah.
And to be honest, I don't know how much better this story could have been. Just going from like seeing an below average but turn into something extremely better than what it was, and like how unique it was, and the story of like we kept looking for him and he didn't show up, and right when I thought the story was over, the tables turned, and it really was just you can't make this stuff up. And I know I did. Some people made fun on me for shooting him in that arena, but he walked in there by himself, and he, it was an urban deer, like, this wasn't exactly your mountain buck, but he was definitely smart and 1,000 times bigger than anything else I've ever done in the hunt. So I'm happy with how it turned out. I hope you guys are too. So anyway, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and please tell me if you guys kind of like this different style of video with me telling the story rather than the whole day by day thing. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.